was singing and screaming all the way, Josh Taylor. 5 minutes of screaming, Ronald. 5 minutes.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to a sold-out First Direct Arena here in Leeds, England. We are live on DAZN for the main event of the evening. It's time for the rematch. 12 rounds of boxing in the super lightweight division. It's all being brought to you courtesy of Mr. Eddie Hearn of Matchroom Boxing in association with Bob Arum's Top Rank Incorporated. We're sponsored by Betfred, Stagefront, Everlast, Forged Irish Stout, Riyadh Season, and Drip. This bout is sanctioned under the auspices of the British Boxing Board of Control. The steward in charge is Mr. Charles Giles. Introducing your three judges scoring this contest from ringside. From Horley, Mark Bates. From South Oxy, Lee Every. And from Harrow, Kieran McCann. And at the sound of the bell, your third man in the ring, A-star referee, Mr. Kevin Parker. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the stage is set and we are here. This is it. The time has come. I said the time has come. From the four corners of the world to the four corners of this ring right here in Leeds, England, the fight starts now! Introducing first, fighting out of the red corner. He wears the black trunks with the red and gold trim. This southpaw scaled 9 stone, 13 pounds, 8 ounces. His professional record, 28 victories, 1 defeat, with 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Chorley, England, here is the reigning WBA Intercontinental Super Lightweight Champion, El Gato, Jack Catterall! Catterall! And his opponent across the ring, fighting out of the blue corner. He wears black with a gold stripe and tartan. This got a southpaw scaled 9 stone, 13 pounds, 6 ounces. His professional record, 19 victories, 1 defeat, with 13 wins coming by way of knockout. Fighting out of Preston Pan, Scotland, here is the former undisputed super lightweight champion of the world, the Tartan Tornado, Josh Taylor! Taylor!
Josh. Yeah. So referee Kevin Parker brings both men together for the final instructions.
Gents, you both know the rules. We've been through the final instructions in the dressing room. You know what I expect. That's a clean fight. Obey my commands at all times. Above all, protect yourselves at all times. 12 round, lads. Touch gloves.
Well, in a build-up that has seen plenty of back and forth, one of these fighters is going to have to make their pre-fight talk tangible. Who'll be able to keep their composure in this cauldron of an atmosphere as Taylor and Catterall come together for the second time in an all-British clash with bragging rights on the line. So here we go then, the rematch between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall is underway. 12 3-minute round in this world-class super lightweight encounter. Both men operating out of the southpaw stance, and it's Jack Catterall on the front foot immediately, wearing black trunks trimmed with red, and he's already found a home for his southpaw right jab and left cross. Josh Taylor, wearing black trunks trimmed with tartan, like the competitor that he is, comes back with a right jab immediately, and Jack Catterall reaching for a southpaw right jab, left cross over the top, then circling counterclockwise to his right as both men occupying center ring, fencing with the lead right jab, and the atmosphere right from the opening bell sees the decibel level dialed up to maximum. It is absolutely deafening here at the First Direct Arena as Josh Taylor, operating directly on top of the logo at centre ring, just forced backwards by a probing right jab from Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall playing semaphore with that lead right hand, waving it up and down, not keeping it in the classic on guard position around his chin. Josh Taylor, altogether more textbook, peering between high held gloves, and now he's driven Jack Catterall back towards the ropes. A reminder of the geography, our commentary position here on 5 Live at figure 5 on the clock face as Josh Taylor drives in a hard left cross to the ribcage of Jack Catterall, catching him at figure 3 on the clock face. Now the action back at centre ring. Double jab where Josh Taylor pushed off the back foot and found the range with that lead right stick. Jack Catterall got his feet in a tangle, stumbled forward and was picked off by a jab, but then Catterall got his boxing stance back together, scored with a southpaw left over the top. Josh Taylor on centre ring, backed up by Jack Catterall, who scored with a flicking right jab from his belt line. Jack Catterall adopting the half cover guard, his left hand around his chin, his right hand around his belt line, tried a speculative right left but couldn't quite find a range because Josh Taylor was clever in the pocket and was able to dip and move away. Minute remaining in this opening round, and now, oh, that's a cracking lead left hand out of the southpaw stance from Jack Catterall. Then he spun off the line counterclockwise to his right, and then he's feeding Josh Taylor a stiff right jab, and the right eye of Josh Taylor, remember, an eye surgery and subsequent swelling was a reason for this bout being delayed, and there's already a reddening around that right eye courtesy of the swift right jab and overhand left of Jack Catterall out of that southpaw stance. 38 seconds remaining in this opening round. The physical coming together, ending with a command of break from the referee Kevin Parker. On the inside, Josh Taylor lands a good left uppercut beneath the right elbow to the body of Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall reaching for that overhand left once again after making Taylor miss with a jab by dipping at the waist. But then intelligently, Josh Taylor drops down to the body, scores with a right jab of his own. But Catterall with a thrusting right jab to the head, followed by another right jab. The left cross which followed it was blocked by the right glove of Josh Taylor. There's the 10-second clapper. Closing stages of round number 1. Overhand left once again from Jack Catterall. Landed with a high elbow before putting Josh Taylor in a headlock. What an opening round of skill, intensity and quality. Steve Bugs.
Every single second of that round, every inch they fought over was intense. That's the only word, Ronald. Every punch was meant. There was no feeling, there was no touching. That Catterall left cross dropping in behind Taylor's right hand. That was a good shot, Rich. 3 or 4 of them. Maybe not full power, but they were good shots.
Definite Catterall round. And the problem that Taylor's got straight away, he's a tall boxer, but he's not boxing tall.
That's what he does,
so
though,
he's got
doesn't
a wide stance, and he's coming down to Jack Catterall's sort of level in terms of his height. He's taken away his own advantage of being a taller boxer. So as he's coming forward, he's getting caught as he's coming into range. So he's got to use his jab a little bit more. He's not using it as a measuring tool. He's walking into range. Bad round for Josh Taylor, that was, and Catterall has settled better.
He's got to use the jab, and he's got to keep that right hand up a bit higher and block those overhand lefts.
Round 2.
Well, Jack Catterall was up off his stool early to answer the bell to begin round number 2. Josh Taylor taking every second of the 60 before making his way out to centre ring. He's operating out of ring centre now. Remember, we're at figure 5 on the clock face. That's where our commentary position is on 5 Live. And Josh Taylor briefly pinned Jack Catterall to the ropes over at figure 7. Now Jack Catterall spinning off to his right. Beautiful combination, ending with a corkscrew right hand from his belt line and then almost a piston punch, flicking out that jab like a southpaw Larry Holmes. Jack Catterall finding Josh Taylor with it, and Josh Taylor scores with a thrusting right jab to the body after he dipped at the knees, but then he's picked off by a pinging right jab from the belt line of Catterall once again. And now Catterall swinging that right arm like a pendulum down by his belt line. Josh Taylor keeping concentrated, backs up Catterall towards the ropes near figure 7 on the clock face with a double right jab, reaches for a roundhouse right to the sternum of Catterall, but Catterall cleverly goes his way out of his own corner, and he's getting to work with that nuisance of a right jab once again. And even though we're calling it a right jab, as Josh Taylor's shoulder came into contact with the cheek of Jack Catterall during a coming together, Jack Catterall is putting an incredible amount of variety on that lead right hand. He's flicked it out like a backhand, he's corkscrewed it, he's shot it out from the shoulder, he's dashed it up from the belt line. Josh Taylor shooting out that left jab, that right jab from the shoulder, catching Catterall with it. Catterall comes back with a right jab of his own, and twice he's penetrated the high held gloves of Josh Taylor. Catterall scoring effectively with that shot, but now Josh Taylor stepping into range, reaching for the jab. It went over the top, but then dug in a hard left hook to the ribcage of Jack Catterall over at figure 10 on the clock face. Things reddening beneath the left eye as the heads come together violently, and Josh Taylor reaching for his right temple. Jack Catterall reaching for the top of his head as the two southpaws clashed heads like a pair of rutting stags. Referee Kevin Parker has called time, just inquiring as to both boxers as to whether they're okay. And rather surprisingly, there's a sporting touch of gloves to begin the action on the resumption. Josh Taylor initiated the action with a right jab. Jack Catterall countered with a double right jab out of that southpaw stance. And it seems to me, with a minute remaining in this second round, that Jack Catterall, who's bobbing and weaving beautifully in his own corner to escape the tornado that the Tartan Tornado is looking to unload. Oh, what a combination! Ended by a right uppercut, left hook out of the southpaw stance from Jack Catterall to repel the attempted aggression that Josh Taylor was looking to launch near the ropes on the red corner on this near side of the ring. Jack Catterall keeping his composure in this atmosphere magnificently, and let's not get it twisted, most of the support appears to be for the man from Chorley in Lancashire as he scores with another right jab from his belt line, finding the chin of Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor reaching with his feet, looking for a left cross but couldn't find a home for it. And again, Catterall expanding the range beautifully. He scored with a counter left bolo shot to the body when he was pinned near the neutral corner turnbuckle on the far side of the ring. 10-second clapper sounds here at the First Direct Arena. Josh Taylor reaching with a gazelle leaping right hook but couldn't find a range, but then scored with an overhand left of his own. His best shot of the entire contest. Catterall took it well and answered with two jabs. Josh Taylor raised his left hand as he makes his way back to his blue corner.
Josh Taylor probably thinks he won it in the first minute and a half, minute and a bit, maybe he did. I just think that Catterall came out in. That combination right in front of us here, 3 or 4 shots, ending with a furious little right uppercut from the southpaw position. Quality and class. I still want to see Taylor get the jab working, Rich. Throw it with some authority.
Well, listen, that was a closer round, but I don't think Taylor won the round. I thought Catterall scored the better shots. What Catterall's doing here is controlling the pace very cleverly on the back foot. So he's sitting on the back foot, he's drawing the lead from Taylor, and then he's coming back with fast counters. Also, occasionally he'll counter-attack. So as Taylor's coming forward, he beats him to the punch with a tricky shot. He's controlling the pace and tempo. That's clever boxing, and for me, Taylor's struggling a little bit, Steve. I thought Catterall got that round as well.
Animated instruction from Joe McNally before he left the blue corner on the far side of the ring, and the heads have come together once again. But just prior to the heads coming together, drawing a tangle, there was an overhand left landed by Jack Catterall. Referee Kevin Parker has called time and is just speaking to both men about their responsibility to keep it clean. The resumption of action is not punctuated by a touch of gloves on this occasion. And it's Jack Catterall moving counterclockwise to his right. Beautiful jab once again, stamping that front foot to take him from out of range to within range to score with the lead right stick. Josh Taylor comes forward out of centre ring with a double right jab, tries a hard right uppercut to the body, but it was blocked by the cross-arm defence a la Kenny Norton from Jack Catterall. Looking for that sneaky overhand left once again was Jack Catterall. Found the temple of Josh Taylor, but a lot was taking off it because the Tartan Tornado was moving backwards. Taylor at centre ring. Jack Catterall operating out of a wide-legged stance before getting up onto his toes and dancing away to his right, counterclockwise. Beautiful right jab once again, and it's almost as though Josh Taylor has been hypnotised by that shot. And then as Josh Taylor came forward with a double jab left cross, Jack Catterall just long bridging his man by holding out his lead right stick like a broom handle, and then when escaping to his left, a hard right hook from Jack Catterall. Taylor works the body, but Catterall getting the better of the trade-off once again with bent-arm successes in the forms of hooks and uppercuts over near figure 12 on the clock face. If you consider that our commentary position here on 5 Live is at figure 5. So the action moves from the far side of the ring after referee Kevin Parker separated the two boxers. The two men come together once again, leading at the same time. Josh Taylor rubbing the front of his forehead, Jack Catterall rubbing the rear of his head. After the two men got in a tangle, Catterall found himself with his back to Taylor and the heads collided once more. Halfway through this third round, as Taylor goes in search of a left uppercut but cannot find a range, and he's touched up with a jab once again in between his high-held gloves from Jack Catterall, who lands another right jab. Taylor responds with a body shot, which temporarily folds over Jack Catterall. And then Josh Taylor lands a hard left hand to the rear of Jack Catterall's ribcage. But Catterall again controlling the tempo, ghosting away and flicking out an irritant of a right jab. Catterall turning his back once again. Taylor takes advantage by hitting him from behind. The referee Kevin Parker speaking to both men about their infractions. Catterall turning his back. Overhand left from Catterall, missed by millimeters. Taylor tried to counter with a right jab. Taylor now moving to his left. Catterall scores with a right jab, left cross over the top. And Catterall is beating his man to the punch consistently, staying on the edge of range and just making Josh Taylor fall short. Sometimes he doesn't commit to the attacks, and so it's an aggressive move forward, but there's no action in terms of offense behind it. Catterall doing a magnificent job controlling the distance and the tempo of this contest in the closing seconds of this third round. Overhand left attempted from Catterall out of the neutral corner on this near side of the ring. Taylor trying to press, but he's been rendered inaccurate. His shot's going long, landing with the forearm and elbow. Catterall doing an outstanding job controlling the distance and tempo.
He is doing an outstanding job controlling the distance and tempo, but Josh is helping him, because when Jack's back on the ropes and he just does that mild roll, just turns his shoulder slightly, Josh is hitting the shoulder and the arms and the elbow. He just maybe needs to just hold back half pace, half a step, Rich, and pick his shots at that point. Josh Taylor thinks he's won the last 2 rounds. I actually gave that round to Josh Taylor. Tight round, I gave that to him. He thinks he's won the last 2 rounds. This is hard, this is tight, it's as intense as it was in the first round.
Bang on, Steve. I give him that round as well, Josh Taylor, a little bit better. Yes, Catterall is controlling things though, but Taylor increased the intensity there. Now what Taylor's starting to do, he's starting to find a way, because he's up the tempo in that last round, so he knows now he's got to throw more punches, he's got to double up his attacks and sustain the pressure. The slower the pace, it suits Catterall.
You're listening to world-class professional boxing on BBC Radio 5 Live with me, Ronald McIntosh, 5 Live regular Steve Bunce, and the former WBC super middleweight champion of the world, Richie Woodall. Into round 4 we go, 10 seconds have elapsed. Josh Taylor out to centre ring with some urgency. Jack Catterall operating on the edge of centre ring, and look at that for a counter-attack. Absolutely sensational. After he made Taylor miss, smothered his work, Jack Catterall answered with a fusillade of 4 bent-arm punches, which caught Taylor on his biceps and his body. Good scoring right jab downstairs from Josh Taylor. Counter right jab upstairs from Jack Catterall. Catterall going in search of a 2-shot salvo. Left cross, right uppercut to the solar plexus before pushing Taylor off to get him back beyond range. And again, it's Taylor. His jab, it comes forward in an imperceptible fashion, and more often than not, he's cracking Josh Taylor right on the target, be it his chin or his forehead. Taylor pursuing, that's a hard right uppercut driven into the sternum of Jack Catterall after he pursued. Jack Catterall pushed him back towards his own blue corner and dug in that shot to the sternum of the man from Chorley. But now Catterall back in centre ring, looking to flick out that right jab. Taylor gets up on his toes now and just dancing a tight circle around Jack Catterall. Catterall inaccurate with the southpaw left, but kept the attack going to make it a 2-phase attack by thrusting out 2 right jabs on the front, on the end of it. Good right jab to the body of the thrusting variety, twice in quick succession by Josh Taylor. Catterall answers with 2 jabs upstairs. Taylor responds with a 1-2 combination. Hard left uppercut slung into the ribcage of Josh Taylor by Jack Catterall. And now it's Taylor keeping the front foot pressure going, stalking Jack Catterall now, who's moving counterclockwise to his right. His back skimming the ropes. He's at figure 9 on the clock face if you consider our commentary positions at figure 5. And when he felt his back touch the ropes near the blue corner, Catterall catapulted off them, claimed Taylor beneath his armpits. His gloves were around the scapulas of the former undisputed champion, and then he walked him back to the space of centre ring. Catterall turns his back on Taylor once again after referee Kevin Parker separated the 2 boxers. Taylor reaching for a right jab downstairs, counter left hand not too far away from Catterall, didn't set it up with a right jab. The reddening beneath Catterall's left eye becoming more pronounced as Taylor inching forwards on flat feet. And now Catterall up on his toes, dancing away laterally to his right in counterclockwise fashion. Action is approaching figure 9 on the clock face. Catterall continues the counterclockwise movement and he's pushing out right jabs from his belt line that are just distracting Josh Taylor, as Taylor not fully committing to his offensive assaults and again his head pinged as he's pushed backwards, and then a right jab, left hook out of the southpaw stance from Jack Catterall. Left hook to the body, left cross upstairs. Taylor disengaging, knows that this is the bad portion of the round for him, but it's the final portion of the round, and it's Jack Catterall who leaves a strong impression in the mind of the judges with that quality.
Not the first time he's done that finish big. He finished really big there. He seemed to catch Josh Taylor. I thought Josh Taylor got some of his measurements right there. Didn't get too close. That's when he caught him with a short right on the far side of the ropes in his own corner. Didn't get too close. Didn't smother his work. Thinking a little bit more, using his jab. But you know what? When Catterall does that, when he opens up, Richie, with those shots, they come up high and they come in low.
Well, they're eye-catching shots, aren't they? And
indeed.
the difference is here is the accuracy. I think Catterall, I don't know what the punch stats are, but the punches that he's throwing, you can see him, they seem very precise, hitting the target, whereas everything seems to be not everything, but a lot of the shots from Taylor are missing the target, and he's a little bit scrappy. He can't find his range with his jab. This isn't good enough from Josh Taylor. He's got, I thought he'd go up a level, but certainly Catterall, for me, is controlling this contest. He won that round.
So we go into the 5th round then. And once again, Josh Taylor taking every second of the 60, walks out to centre ring, starts with a left uppercut to the body, but then he's met by 4 or 5 trip hammer right jabs from Jack Catterall, and another beautiful double jab landed with a bent elbow from Jack Catterall, and with tremendous force as he continually pinged the head of Josh Taylor. Bad portion of the round for the former undisputed light welterweight champion of the world. Terrific accuracy with the lead right stick from Jack Catterall, who's operating on the edge of ring centre, circling almost exclusively in a counterclockwise fashion to his right, not running but giving Josh Taylor angles, and Josh Taylor is struggling to get to grips with that lead right hand as he cracks it home once again, pisting it up from the belt line. Jack Catterall using that right jab wonderfully, and then contemptuously standing on flat feet and bobbing and weaving at the waist, making Josh Taylor miss. Then drives in a hard right jab to the body, twice in quick succession. Right jab to the body in response from Taylor. Taylor's right eye beginning to swell. There's a quadruple right jab from Jack Catterall. Right jab, left hook, and Taylor was hurt by that because he's backed up now, looking to increase the distance, moving counterclockwise to his left. But Catterall senses that he's hurt his man and keeps the attack going. This is wonderful composure being shown by El Gato from Chorley in Lancashire. Taylor has recomposed himself now, got his boxing stance back beneath him, but it's been a beautiful first half of this 5th round for Jack Catterall. His right jab has been mesmeric, and an overhand left catches Taylor on the counter, and then he follows it up with another riding crop of a right jab once again. The 2 men at centre ring, hard right uppercut driven in by Josh Taylor, but Catterall takes it well, put on the end of a treble jab from Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor in search of the left cross, but tucking up behind his shoulder was Jack Catterall. Hard right hand driven into the body from Josh Taylor as the 2 men operate on top of the logo at centre ring. Josh Taylor, credit to his competitiveness and his intensity, is continuing to press, but Jack Catterall enjoyed a terrific first half of this 5th round. Taylor now sensing that, quickening his feet as he visibly looks to close the gap on his man by walking him down. 30 seconds remaining in this 5th round. Good right hook driven into the chest of Jack Catterall from the former undisputed world champion. And now Taylor getting to work with his own double jab. Catterall put an awful lot of work into the first minute and a half of the round, standing on flat feet now. Oh, look at that for a reply. Single right jab from Josh Taylor was countered by a treble right jab from Jack Catterall, who's doing an outstanding job having the final word in these exchanges. Here's the 10-second clapper at the first direct arena. Right cross, right jab, left cross, and Taylor's hurt, and he's becoming disheveled. Pinned to the ropes on the far side of the ring. His right foot came up as Catterall kept the attack going, and that was a sensational round for El Gato from Chorley.
And he's done it every single time from the opening round. If he feels that first shot lands, he lets the second go, then he lets the third. And what we saw there, Richie, wasn't just 1, 2 or 3. It was 4 and 5 shots. He chased Josh Taylor, pushed him back and hit him all the way to the ropes, and then 3 foot leaning back over the ropes. He fancies this fight. He's enjoying himself, Jack Catterall, and Josh Taylor isn't.
Best round for Catterall by far, and he certainly went through the gears in that round and really upped the tempo. So he's testing Josh Taylor now, and Josh Taylor can't quite cope with this tempo change. And that's what he's done here, Catterall. He's gone through the gears, and he's gone to another level in terms of his output. But it's the accuracy in his shots. If you watch what he's doing, the jab's a superb punch. He's mainly throwing from the hip, so it's hard to detect for Josh Taylor. Excellent round for Jack Catterall, the best yet.
Turn to the 6th round we go. And Josh Taylor was looking deep into the eyes of trainer Joe McNally. What secrets and instructions were they sharing over in that blue corner? Because Josh Taylor has surely got to come up with some type of adaptive strategy now. He endured a torrid 5th round, and Jack Catterall looking to capitalise on that as he was looking to score with that overhand left and right uppercuts once again. Taylor attempting a double jab after he made Catterall miss. Taylor operating out of centre ring, scores with the right jab to the body, but Catterall coming back again with a double jab to the head of the former undisputed champion. And Catterall moving his head to make Taylor miss by millimetres as the two men on the edge of ring centre now. The action approaching figure 7 on the clock face, if you consider our commentary position is at figure 5 on the clock face. And what beautiful movements in the pocket from Jack Catterall. And when he felt his back touch a neutral corner turnbuckle on this near side of the ring, he shoved off Josh Taylor with the shoulder. Taylor slings in a hard left hook to the body, but immediately it's replied to with 3 right jabs, and then a thrusting right jab where Catterall pushed off his back foot. Jack Catterall, who earned that nickname El Gato when he was over in the gyms in Las Vegas, Nevada, sharing the ring with the likes of Floyd Mayweather Jr. and Canelo Alvarez, holding his own when he was just a novice rookie. And in stark contrast, Josh Taylor with those glittering amateur credentials. I was ringside at the Talcastoria Stadium in Delhi in 2010 when he got Commonwealth Games silver, an Olympian, then a Commonwealth Games gold medalist in 2014, turned pro with a fanfare in 2015 as he drives in a hard right uppercut to the body, but then the heads come together once again. Josh Taylor reaches for his right eye, checking whether it's cut, but the skin is held firm. In the meantime, the action is at centre ring. What a right uppercut, and then followed by a treble left jab from Jack Catterall, who is just timing his man beautifully. No excessive movements, wonderful efficiency. And in this contest of two men who entered the professional ranks in starkly contrasting fashion, it is the man who entered without fanfare who is proving to have Josh Taylor's number once again. 50 seconds remaining in the 6th round. Josh Taylor endured a torrid 5th round, and Jack Catterall, while not as dominant here in the 6th, is the governor once again. Big swing and a miss with a lead right hook from Josh Taylor. Perhaps a sense of desperation creeping into his work as Catterall, breathing through an open mouth, flicks out a right jab, but on this occasion the 3 attempted jabs were inaccurate. That left cross was right on the money. He came behind the right jab, which blinded Josh Taylor, and then the left cross snaked behind his right gloves. And then he followed it up with jabs pinging out into the face of Josh Taylor. Taylor gamely onto the front foot, momentarily pinning Jack Catterall to the ropes at figure 7 on the clock face. And now, with Catterall standing near his own corner, as slippery as a bar of soap, making Taylor miss once again. And it's another strong conclusion to the round by Jack Catterall. Let's head over to his corner and listening to the instructions from Jamie Moore.
All about recovery, son. Relax. Relax. Relax them shoulders. Relax everything. Breathe.
Relax, says Jamie Moore. Beautiful, says Jamie Moore, and I'd have to concur with him. Just quickly, forget Catterall's great work. Josh Taylor is now looking bashed up. The markings under the right eye and the markings under the left eye, they're getting worse. And also, he hasn't managed to get out of the way of one single left over the top, Richie.
Taylor missed a trick there, you know, because in that round, Catterall actually slowed down a little bit because he put so much work into the previous round, and Taylor didn't pick up on it. It was quite a slow-paced round, but at the end of the round then, Catterall's won it again because he's caught Taylor with 3 or 4 real eye-catching shots, and he's took the round again. He missed a trick, Taylor.
So into the second half of this super lightweight contest we go. It's scheduled for 12. Taylor starts it by pushing off his back left foot and driving a right jab into the body, but Catterall answering back to get the better of this exchange. And again, it's the right jab of Catterall that is continuing to be cracked out into the face of Taylor. Taylor drives in a hard right hook to the chest of Catterall, and Taylor, with his best, most sustained success of the contest, tries to end it with a left cross over the top, but Catterall turning away to make it whistle by his chin but not land on the target. Catterall has put an awful lot of work into the first half of round 5 and portions of round 6, just rendered inaccurate there as he reached with a right jab, left cross. And is he just beginning to slow down a little bit? Is he looking to take a breather in this round? If that is the case, can Josh Taylor capitalize? Goes in search of a right jab, but it went over the right shoulder of Jack Catterall. Taylor, with his right eye swelling beneath the optic, but still keeping his wits about him, bobbing and weaving as he's looking to walk down his man. And now the two men just engaging in an old enemy standoff. Just beyond range, Jack Catterall dropped his hands, so too did Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor inaccurate with the southpaw left, but the right uppercut which followed did get through. And Jack Catterall, for the first time in the contest, losing his shape a little bit as Josh Taylor digs in a right uppercut to the body of Jack Catterall. And it's Catterall claims his man in a clinch, walks him back to figure 9 on the clock face. Again, if you consider our position, he's at figure 5. Action is now in center ring. Taylor sensing perhaps that Jack Catterall is taking a round off or just a little less active than he has been in the previous rounds, and he's looking to make hay while Catterall is resting. Walking forwards but not fully committing to the shots. There's plenty of feinting and fidgeting as Catterall looks to counter his man with a right jab after Taylor advanced, and there's another hard left hook driven into the right flank of Catterall from Taylor, and Taylor enjoying his best portion of the round. But now Catterall, oh, that's a cracking left cross from Josh Taylor, his best single shot success of the entire contest. Catterall tucking well, and he's now operating out of the Philly shell defense. The action is at center ring, but Catterall, showing his competitive spirit, fires right back with a right jab and left cross, then shakes his head contemptuously after Taylor threw in a single shot. Catterall able to bob and weave his way out of the attempted offense of Josh Taylor, but then Taylor scores with a left hook to the ribcage of Jack Catterall with the boxers at center ring. Referee Kevin Parker separates the two men, and it's Jack Catterall. Oh, that's a beautiful left cross once again, and then a right uppercut to the body causes Jack Catterall to totter backwards, and Jack Catterall enduring his worst portion of the contest. Right uppercut landed on the inside as the two men chest to chest, toe to toe, and Taylor with an overhand left. Catterall countering with that overhand left once again, but Taylor sensing that Catterall is just taking a round off and he's feeling the pace, and Josh Taylor enjoying his best round of the entire contest.
I don't think he was taking a round off, Ronald, because when you're taking a round off and you get caught with left cross, right hook, you come back, you fire back. You showed it you're taking a round off. He didn't show he was taking a round off. He suddenly looked tired there. He suddenly looked slightly uncomfortable, and Taylor sensed it, Richie. Taylor sensed it.
Yeah, he sensed it. You know, Taylor's probably been waiting for that, because up to this stage, it's been all Catterall. Catterall's been accurate, he's looked sharp, but in that round, something happened. Maybe he's feeling it, maybe he's took a couple of good shots, maybe he's been hurt to the body, or maybe he's just having a round off, we don't know. But certainly his intensity slowed right down, and Taylor seized the opportunity there. That was much better from Taylor. He sensed that Catterall was slowing down, Steve, and he pounced. That was Taylor's round.
We'll know in the first 10 seconds here, Ronald, what happened in that round.
So into the 8th round we go. Josh Taylor coming off his best round of the entire contest, because you could make a strong argument that in the first 6 stanzas of this light welterweight contest scheduled for 12, all of them could have been scored for Jack Catterall. Can Josh Taylor capitalize on the good work he produced in sustained fashion in round number 7? The atmosphere dialed up to maximum here in the first direct arena in Leeds, as Josh Taylor on the front foot, Jack Catterall getting back to work behind that right jab, but Josh Taylor able to evade, and now Catterall's right jab, which was so unerringly accurate, becoming a little less accurate here in this round. Beautiful work to the body from Josh Taylor, countered by a right jab upstairs from Jack Catterall. And is this turning into a contest of two halves? Good double right hand, body then head, both hooks, but then Taylor answers, but his first and third boxing from Jack Catterall as he lands a 2-shot salvo. Lead right hook blocked by the left glove of Jack Catterall. It was Josh Taylor in search of the southpaw lead right hook, but Josh Taylor looking more encouraged now, because the work rate and the intensity of Jack Catterall seems to have dropped, and there's a piston-like right jab pushed out from the shoulder by Josh Taylor at center ring. Catterall uncharacteristically did not counter or reply. Hard left hand driven into the body from Josh Taylor, and another left hand into the body from Josh Taylor, countered by a single double right hand from Josh Taylor. Uppercut then hook, and Josh Taylor sensing that Jack Catterall is fading before his very eyes, and he's looking to capitalise. Taylor takes the left cross over the top from Jack Catterall. He reached for the shot and found a home for it just on the edge of centre ring. Catterall still doing a good job to give his man angles and just remain out of harm's way. Good left hand to the body from Josh Taylor, countered by a left hook out of the southpaw stance upstairs from Jack Catterall. But Catterall's feet have slowed now, and it's as though he's wading through treacle. That counterclockwise movement is still rendering Josh Taylor inaccurate. We were talking about the efficiency of it early on. It just looks a little more leaden-footed here now as Josh Taylor goes in pursuit of him behind a stiff right jab. Beautiful counter-punching in the pocket from Jack Catterall, but you just get the sense that more opportunities are being presented to the Tornado if he can capitalise. Counter left hand over the top is a scoring shot again for Jack Catterall, but Josh Taylor far closer as he lands a hard left cross and then a right uppercut to the solar plexus. Catterall answers with a double right jab of his own, circling clockwise, counterclockwise to his right. Taylor though pursues his man, pins him to the ropes and pings him with a right jab. Good three-shot salvo to the body from Jack Catterall, and this is becoming a torrid round of two-way action between these two bitter rivals. Left uppercut on the inside from Josh Taylor, left cross over the top from Jack Catterall, and the closing seconds of this round could well determine who takes it. Is a hard right hook driven into the body from Josh Taylor. Big swing and a miss with the overhand left from Josh Taylor. What a round of back and forth action.
Jack Catterall can't land 3 shots anymore. Jack Catterall's lost that bit of speed. Josh Taylor's finding his form. Looks a bit like the old Josh Taylor. Looks like maybe the Josh Taylor I expected to see ding first round in Glasgow. Still a tight round. I gave it to Josh Taylor. Still a hard round. They're both, I think, at their edges, at the end of where, to be honest with you, I think they're both close to exhausted. And I just think at this moment, Richie, it just looked like Josh Taylor's got a bit more. Just he's recovered something.
The momentum is definitely, I think, with Taylor. You can see the confidence in him. Catterall, he's still working hard, but he's missing the target, and that's showing probably a little bit of tiredness, so he's not so accurate, is Catterall. So what he's got to do, he's got to find a second win from somewhere. Now, this can happen sometimes in the 12-rounder, where you have a round off here and there, and the pace is getting to you, but you've got to get through it. You've got to get to another level, Steve.
Just quickly, Richie, how have you got it at the moment?
I've got it 5 rounds to 3 to Catterall.
Exactly the same as me.
So to round number 9 we go. Josh Taylor out quickly once again. He lands an overhand left. Counter look. Catterall looks to counter with a left hand out of the southpaw stance. There's a sporting touch of gloves after a shot straight low. Beautiful lead right hook from Josh Taylor. But then look at that, 4 or 5 right jabs while dancing counterclockwise to his right from Jack Catterall. Both men breathing through, mouths that are wide open as Josh Taylor loads upon a left cross was inaccurate. Catterall looked to counter but couldn't find a range. Catterall stealing a furtive glance to the red corner, which is right next to our commentary position. Left hand over the top from Catterall, followed by a jab working upstairs and downstairs, and a left cross over the top, followed by more. A non-stop combination punches which drove Josh Taylor to the ropes on the far side of the ring near the blue corner, his own corner. Referee Kevin Parker had to separate the two, and now it's back at centre ring once again. Josh Taylor initiating the attack with a bent arm right jab. Catterall swinging and missing with a right jab, left cross over the top. But Taylor looking sharp, turns his palms up to the ring lights and drives in a hard right uppercut to the sternum of Jack Catterall. Catterall backing up incrementally, but still finding the quality of a sumptuously picked southpaw left over the top. And on the disengagement, it's Josh Taylor who stole a look in the direction of the blue corner and Joe McNally. Halfway through this 9th round, left cross from Josh Taylor is countered by a shot to the body from Jack Catterall. And this contest, where the quality and the intensity is so high, is now taking on an attritional aspect. Who will be able to summon up their reserves of energy? Good defense with a right elbow from Jack Catterall to block the left cross from Josh Taylor, but then Josh Taylor accurate with a right jab which scored twice. Jack Catterall backs up to the neutral corner on the far side of the ring. Hard left hand driven in and a left uppercut from Josh Taylor, followed by a right hook. Catterall answers with a left uppercut and right hook and then gets back to work behind his trusty right jab. Terrific two-way action in the middle of the boxing ring. Then the men exchange jabs. Taylor looking to bob and weave his way inside. Catterall, when he was just beyond punching range, punching range, dropped his arms, looked into the eyes, almost as though he's trying to find the soul of Josh Taylor, as if to say, what on earth is this man still doing in front of me after the work I produced in the first 6 rounds? It is that type of contest, what you'd expect in a domestic British grudge match between two bitter rivals. Final 30 seconds as the two men exchange jabs, each of which sends the opponent's head spinning. Terrific action over near the blue corner on the far side of the ring. Both men testing the strength of one another on the inside. Referee Kevin Parker has to separate the two men once again, speaking to Jack Catterall on the disengagement about the illegal tactic of holding. Terrific combination, punching on the sound of the 10-second clapper from Catterall once again, but ending the round with a light right hook is Josh Taylor. What a round!
Being pulled apart by Kevin Parker at the end of the 9th round. They're both landing on or near the bell. This is ferocious. The intensity hasn't dropped. Sure, they're tired. Sure, their punches are slower. Sure, their feet are slower. But they're prepared to still try the stuff they were doing in the first round. Richie, the quality here is even better than we expected. Even better.
Yeah, it is. Before that round, I thought Taylor had won the previous 2. Catterall needed a good round there, and I think he got it. He found the target, he upped the intensity and went to another level there. That was much better from Jack Catterall, but Stevie needed it. And yes, every shot they're taking is taking a little bit more out of them. It could go right down to the wire, but now I've got it 6-3 to Catterall.
Okay, well, I went the other way. I went to Taylor that round.
Yeah, it was a close round.
I believe the 9th round, Ronald, will be the talking point. I really do.
So referee Kevin Parker has called time before the beginning of round number 10, and he's just speaking to both boxers in the middle of the ring about the excessive holding, about the head clashes. Now he's called time in and the action resumes. It's Josh Taylor on the front foot, stepping forward, looking to walk his man down, scores with a thrusting right jab like a bayonet into the body of Jack Catterall. Jack Catterall circling the perimeter of the boxing ring. Jack Catterall takes 2 right uppercuts dug into his body and then gets back to work behind the right jab. The left cross was blocked by effective glove defenses from Josh Taylor. But now Jack Catterall, just beyond punching range, scores with a beautiful right jab once again. And another one shot up from his kneecap, and another one catching Josh Taylor as he advances. And Josh Taylor, that right eye swelling to a slit now, and that's not going to help it because it's another right jab landed from the belt line from Jack Catterall. Minute gone in this 10th round, and the action is at the middle of the boxing ring. Good right jab to the body and a left hook into the rib cage landed from Josh Taylor. Both men lean on one another in a gentleman's agreement in that clinch, just to gain some respite from this incredibly hot pace. Of course it has dropped, but the concentration remains absolute, and you can see that both men are feeling the pace as Catterall scores with a double right jab. The second one catching Taylor as he was advancing, then a right jab left hook out of that southpaw stance. He's done a terrific job, Jack Catterall, finding a home for his left hand behind the right glove of Josh Taylor. And then the two men come together once again. Right jab scores for Josh Taylor. The left hand went over the top because Catterall dipped in the pocket and gave his man an angle where he couldn't find the range. And now with the two men leaning shoulder to shoulder once again, it's Taylor knocking away with his left glove into the rear of the ribcage of Jack Catterall. And this one taking on more of a physical quality in this 10th round here now, increasingly punctuated by clinching and mauling at centre ring. Jack Catterall finding some energy, getting up onto his toes to increase the gap between himself and the advancing Josh Taylor. But Josh Taylor closed the distance in a flash and scored with a piston-like right jab. Catterall answered with a jab of his own, but it was far less potent than that forced out, thrusted out by the former undisputed world champ. And it's Catterall on the back foot, scored with 2 further light right jabs, countered by an altogether harder right jab from Taylor. Taylor with jab and uppercut success, the uppercut coming from the left hand, but then a disruptive right jab from Catterall catches Taylor as he advances, but Taylor has got the bit between his teeth now, and he's quickening his feet, walking down Catterall to figure 12 on the clock face, pursues him to figure 9, and he's working away to the body, hauling in punches just above the midsection, and it's Catterall who is keen to initiate a clinch, forcing the intervention of referee Kevin Parker. But Taylor goes right back to work to the body, and a beautiful left uppercut from Josh Taylor catches Catterall as he was bent over at the waist. and Taylor, sensing that his man may be fading, walking after him in manic fashion, pursuing him from one set of ropes to the other. Strong conclusion to the round for Josh Taylor.
Another raised fist from Josh Taylor there as he went back. That was another ferocious round. They're both tired. The problem with Catterall in that round is he showed it, Rich.
Yeah.
He was a bad poker player in that round. He showed it, and that gave Catterall just a little bit of extra bounce and zip.
You've got to remember, if you've got judges sitting at ringside that like that front foot pressure, when these rounds are fairly close, like most of them are, they're going to go for that man on that front foot, whether you like it or not. Some judges are like that. They like that front foot pressure. Taylor has got the bit between the teeth. I think he feels that he's behind and he knows he's got to do a little bit more. Yes, Catterall there, not so accurate. He was in the first half of the round with the jab, but the second half, then you saw Taylor come on strong, and that's always a good impression to leave with the judges. You end that last round, the last 30 or 40 seconds on top, it looks good for you.
I've got it 5-5 going into the 11th.
Well, there is no belt on the line, but we go into the championship round, and this, to paraphrase Hall of Fame scribe Jerry Isenberg, very well could be for the championship of each other. It's the rematch between the bitter rivals from 26 months ago. Jack Catterall from Chorley in Lancashire, Josh Taylor from Preston Pans in Edinburgh, and even though Jack Catterall appearing to be slightly more fatigued, he's still producing moments of quality, like that whiplash of a right jab from his kneecap, which caught the advancing Taylor and disrupted his boxing stance. Good left hand driven into the body beneath the right elbow of Jack Catterall from Josh Taylor, and then a lead right hand, half hook, half uppercut from Josh Taylor, and then a beautiful combination from the man from Preston Pans, turning in hooks and uppercuts to both body and head. That right eye continuing to swell angrily beneath the optic, and indeed a little bit above it now. It's almost being reduced to a slit, that right eye, and Jack Catterall gets on his back foot and is flicking out that right jab. Now Catterall has got to do a good job here in round number 11, that he doesn't give the impression of running. He's done an outstanding job of sticking and moving, but for the opening minute of this 11th round, he's been almost exclusively on the back foot, and that could give the judges the impression that he's trying to nick it rather than trying to take the fight to the former undisputed champion. So many intangibles, so many imponderables to consider when scoring a contest, and it's Josh Taylor on the front foot once again, pursuing his man with lead right hooks. The boxer just above our commentary position, testing the tension of the ropes. Referee has called time once again, and he's reading the riot act in the direction of both boxers. On this occasion, I'm not quite sure what it's for, because Josh Taylor was trying to work. Timing called. Beautiful counter left hand. Catches the advancing Josh Taylor, and Taylor's on rubbery legs. Cleverly, intelligently, he claims Jack Catterall, but Jack Catterall leaned back on the ropes, catapulted off the strands, and caught the bull-rushing Taylor with a short overhand left that completely discombobulated the man from Preston Pans. But he showed his ring IQ. He didn't show machismo. He claimed his man, but his legs still appear to be a little unsteady beneath him. Can Catterall capitalize? Does he have the energy and the crispness and the accuracy to take advantage of Josh Taylor, whose coordination has been disrupted, and he walks into another overhand left of the former champion that stops him in his tracks? Can Jack Catterall summon up the energy to produce an inside the distance victory here? Taylor claims his man. Referee Kevin Parker having to physically get in between the boxers and crowbar them apart. 30 seconds remaining in this penultimate round, and Josh Taylor has taken two howlitzers of overhand lefts that really drained his energy tank. But like the former champion that he is, that he has been throughout his glittering career, he knows that he's trailing, and he's going in pursuit of his man, despite the fog that he must be fighting through and the fatigue that he must be feeling. Good defenses by putting his hands up around his ears from Josh Taylor. My goodness, it's a long, weary-legged walk back to the respective corners for both men.
You know, when he nearly got dropped there, he got caught with a perfect left. You know why he got caught with the left? Because Jack Catterall acted quicker when the referee Kevin Parker said box on. He went straight at him, he walked onto it, and he has to claim him. You can see it on the screen here, Richie. He has to claim him here, take him down, sensible move. He was hurt, he was out on his feet, Richie.
He certainly was, yes. In that round, Ronald, the timing and accuracy there from Jack Catterall was superb, because he actually brought Taylor onto the punch. It was super timing. He just slips to his right, whips the left hand over, and the advancing Josh Taylor walks straight onto it. He did that twice in that round. Two quality shots For me, he clearly won the round. Taylor did well to get through it and not get a count there, Steve.
Absolutely he did. Absolutely did. Look at this crowd, Ronald.
The capacity crowd of 11,000 up on their feet in anticipation of the bell to begin round number 12. There's a sporting touch of gloves, but it's Catterall who's made the brighter start once the action resumes by scoring with a trip hammer treble right jab with the shots that darted up from his belt line. Josh Taylor put on the end of another 2 stiff right jabs once again. He's so game, he's so determined. For my money, he's trailing in this contest. I get the sense that he must feel he's trailing as well, because he's pursuing his man with dogged determination, going in search of left uppercuts and left hooks. Catterall walks his man off the ropes from figure 5 over to figure 9 on the clock face. We're at figure 5, and then in that entanglement it forced the intervention of referee Kevin Parker, and now it's Jack Catterall just circumnavigating the boxing ring. Josh Taylor reaches for a long left cross which glances the chin of Jack Catterall, and Catterall just long bridging his man with that right jab, walking away to his right, not quite circling his man, but walking from centre ring over towards the ropes at figure 1 on the clock face. Again, we're at figure 5. Double jab, both to the body from Jack Catterall. Josh Taylor looking to cut off the avenue of escape from Jack Catterall. Had Catterall momentarily in his own blue corner, did the former undisputed world champion, but Catterall claimed his man, walked him back to the space of centre ring, and forcing the intervention of referee Kevin Parker. We're halfway through the final round of what has been a pulsating battle of the highest quality and of searing intensity between these two familiar adversaries. Good right left landed from Josh Taylor, but then Jack Catterall responds with a blistering burst of punches to the body before switching his attack to the head. Both men are incredibly fatigued, but they're digging deep like champions do. Taylor, right hand, left hand to the body, landed with the palms turned upward to the ring lights. Then a left uppercut into the solar plexus from Josh Taylor, with Jack Catterall at figure 7 on the clock face. Jack Catterall retreats to figure 10 on the clock face, over near the blue corner on the far side of the ring. Josh Taylor, desperation, percolating his work now, trying to quicken his feet, trying to find a finishing salvo that he surely needs with 50 seconds remaining in this final round. Catterall, desperately tired, catapults himself off the ropes near the blue corner on the far side of the ring and claimed his man around the waist. Referee Kevin Parker separated the two, and on the resumption, it's another cameo of quality from Jack Catterall. Josh Taylor, again, through a right eye that he's swollen almost completely shut, comes forward on quick feet, scores with a double right jab, countered by a single right jab from Jack Catterall. Catterall dips beneath the waistband of Josh Taylor, pushes out 2 feather-light punches before tying his man up. The 10-second clapper is imminent here in the final round. Good right hook to the body from Josh Taylor, and the crowd on their feet as both men look in search of a grandstand finish. Right uppercut, left hook from Josh Taylor, right uppercut off the ropes from Jack Catterall. A left overhand left out of the southpaw stance is the final shot of the round from Jack Catterall. Joe McNally immediately into the ring to put Josh Taylor on his shoulders and parade him around the ring in a shoulder riding counterclockwise fashion. It is far more subdued over in the red corner, but that's because I think they are quietly confident that their man has got the job done. Nigel Travis reciprocated the gesture and put Jack Catterall on his shoulders, taking him for a ride. And now the respect between the two boxers after battle as they make their way over to the opposing corners and exchange sentiments with the coaching teams. It has been an absolute domestic classic between two familiar rivals who absolutely extracted the very best from one another. For what it's worth, I happen to think that Jack Catterall has done enough, but this is a contest that will live long in the memory of all who witnessed it. An absolutely magnificent do-over between the familiar rivals of Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. What a contest.
We had a feeling it might be round 13, and it was. Once they started, they never let off. 7-5, I've got it. But you know what? I've got 3 or 4 rounds that are tight. So I'd be stunned if it's more than. I'll be stunned if it's really wide. I don't want it to be really wide. I really don't want it to be really wide. I've got it 7-5 Catterall. But every single round had the ebb and flow, Richie. Some ferocious exchanges, heart, guts, brilliance, everything. Absolutely everything. No belts, just pride. Give us more. Give us the monthly.
I've got it 7-5 as well to Catterall. I think overall his accuracy and timing was a little bit better than Josh Taylor's, and I think for me Catterall for the first half of the fight especially, he was really into gear. And he was winning these rounds with his accuracy, working with his jab, and right from probably the opening bell, the tactic was to sit back and let Taylor come on and then pick him off as he's coming forward. Taylor, for me, played into that by this crouching style as he was coming forward. We saw it went down to Catterall's height, and that suited Catterall. As Taylor was coming forward, he was just bringing him onto shots. Overall, a little bit more accuracy from Catterall, and I think he got the timing better throughout the contest, and for me, 7-5.
You know, I don't think Josh Taylor ever come to terms with Catterall's defence. That's why Kevin Parker was telling him, because Josh Taylor was whacking him around the back. He should have whacked him around the back and made a big fuss of it in the first round, and therefore the referee would have told him, you turn your back, you're going to get hit. Because I bizarrely, I think that what won that was Catterall's defence.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action here in Leeds, we go to the judges' scorecards. Kieran McCann and Mark Bates both scored about 117-111. Lee Every, 116-113. All three for your winner by unanimous decision, El Gato Catterall.
Well, up in the boxing ring, we have a contrast of emotions that only the sport of boxing can produce. Jack Catterall declared a unanimous points decision victor by the three judges at ringside. Kieran McCann and Mark Bates having it 117-111, Lee Every 116-113. And upon the announcement of those points verdicts from tonight's MC David Diamante, Jack Catterall let out a roar of absolute ecstasy, whereas Josh Taylor was absolutely crestfallen, turned away, not happy with the verdict, and now bringing him out of himself to exchange sentiments with the man who has just conquered him. It's Jack Catterall who has prevailed to even up the score in this hard-fought rivalry. For Josh Taylor, it is 2 defeats on the spin. Will he choose to move up to 147, or will he drag himself down to 140 once again for a rematch and a third installment against Jack Catterall? What a contest. Catterall the victor, and he rights what he feels the wrong from their first contest 26 months ago.
You know what? The third contest might be the real money fight. It might be the one that generates even more money. Let's put it this way, it might generate more money than one of the title defences, one of the title challenges. That's the way this business works. And who's to say we don't see that rematch of that? Who's to say we don't see that? This is sponsored by Riyadh season. Who's to say we don't see that in September at Wembley? Who's to say we don't see it? Let's get absolutely right. I had it 7-5. I had it a bit tighter than the 9-3 verdict, the two of those judges. That's no problem. There is definitely a lot of scrutiny on judges in a fight after a rematch like that. That's the way I look at it, Richie. There's always scrutiny. He looks in the ring up there, sickened, Josh Taylor. Absolutely sickened.
Yes, he does, Steve. I think there's someone just speaking to Jack Catterall now in the ring. But yeah, I think it was a thoroughly deserved win for Catterall. Yes, a lot of the rounds were close because Taylor's coming forward, and it always looks impressive when you're a boxer's doing that. But the timing, the accuracy of the punches were with Catterall. I thought it was a really clever display. Height and reach went with Josh Taylor, but Catterall sat back, waited for Taylor to come to him, and worked really well off that back foot and got his timing right with the jab. The simple shot was the jab. He brought him onto it, timing again. Then towards the end, he increased that quality in terms of the left hand over the top and the odd little right uppercut on the inside as well. And he got the timing right throughout the contest. I think he timed the contest very well. Had a little bit of a 2 or 3 rounds midsection where he had a little bit of a breather, but then he came on strong. And I thought overall he was the winner. 2-3 rounds. I didn't agree with one of the scores, but certainly 2 or 3 rounds. I thought he was quite comfortable at that stage.
And again, the boxing adage used to be so regularly used that it's almost a cliche, is that styles make fights. Another incredibly hard-fought affair, but that southpaw style that Jack Catterall possesses, where he doesn't fully commit, and it's so wonderfully timed. It's not blazing speed, but the timing on the shots and the angles that he presents, and then he half turns his back, forcing the intervention of the referee. It just seems to be a style that continually perplexed Josh Taylor, and he could never fully get to grips with it for any extended period of time.
You know what, Ronald? He made himself pretty difficult to actually catch clean, and he did that because his backhand, which is obviously his left hand, he keeps nice and high up to the on-guard position, but his lead hand, his right hand, he actually puts across his waist and then turns that right shoulder around and then sticks his chin behind that shoulder. That's a difficult target to hit.
So we're going to head up to ringside now. Steve Bunce is on the ring apron speaking with one of Jack Catterall's training team, Nigel Travis.
Nigel, 2 and a bit years ago, you were close to exploding with rage and emotion and tears. You're probably close to tears now. How do you feel?
Elated. I feel redemption. That's what I feel. That's the word in my mind. I can't hear myself think it's one of the best atmospheres I've ever been in part of, and it's brilliant. I'm just so proud of him and elated that the right thing happened this time, regardless of what happened before. It's done. That's put to bed. I'm hoping that's it. So now we are where we are.
Now you're in the corner and you get carried away, and you and Jamie are locked into each other, and you're looking at your man Jack. Do you realise how intense and how good and how hard and how brutal that fight was?
Yeah, I do. And let me tell you, there's absolutely no disrespect to Josh Taylor. He's one ballsy, hard man. And a couple of occasions I thought, it's going to go here. And he just kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. He was phenomenal. But Jack Catterall was better and deserved it wholeheartedly.
And he had to dig deep, Jack. There were a couple of rounds in the middle when I wasn't sure if he was having the time off or if perhaps those first 6 rounds had taken a toll. And he had to really graft, really work. You weren't. I'm going to ask you, were you concerned?
He had a couple of rounds off, you're right, and he looked like he was flagging. But that's how hard he trains. He came again, absolutely came again. I mean, I'm hearing Bob Aaron saying how bad it is.
Listen. He's saying the scorecards are a disgrace. I thought they were a bit too wide. I gave it a jab. I thought the 2 were too wide, but that's okay. That happened.
I'm okay with that. And again, I'm absolutely okay with that. Last time they were a disgrace. So listen, it is what it is. They are where they are. I want them to go our separate ways, and I genuinely want Jack Catterall to go on and get the just rewards that he deserves after the years that he's put in this thing. He deserves it for everything that he's done.
Let me try and get Jamie. If I could just get Jamie Moore as well. Just Jamie, just for 1 second. I just said to Nigel there, Jack, can I get you as well? Get Jack in as well. If I can get Jack in. Jack, can I get you over here for a second? Jack, you were involved in that. Do you realise how intense and how good that was, Jack? Do you realise how intense and good that fight was? I know you're in the middle of it, but do you realise how good it was?
I enjoyed it. I'll have to watch it back, but felt good in there tonight. It's beat Steve.
There were moments in the first 5 or 6 rounds when you were flawless, son. I mean flawless in the first 5 or 6 rounds. Some of the combinations where you were coming off the ropes were class. I was standing and applauding.
Yeah, felt good, felt sharp. Had a few little niggles in there, but I overcome it. I think I stayed disciplined, and ultimately, Steve, I can close that chapter on Josh Taylor. And I want to shout out to my friend who's listening inside, Uncle, I love you.
Now, I didn't see, but did you and Josh actually embrace at the end? Did you try to, or did he try to? Have you embraced?
You know what? I tried to. You say embrace, Josh, after the fight. Yeah. Listen, we've shared 24 rounds together. We put on a great fight for the fans. And you know what? As much as things have been said, there's always respect to another fighter.
Because when you caught him in I think it was in the 11th, I thought he was gone then. I mean, he took you down to buy some time.
You know what, Josh, and that's why he become undisputed. He's a tough competitor, and he come back and thought I closed the show well, but fair play to Josh.
You know what, Jack? Nothing tastes better than redemption and revenge, does it, son? Nothing tastes better than redemption and revenge.
No, it feels good, Steve. It feels good.
Go on, Jack Catterall. What I also like about Jack Catterall is he loves deep water swimming. If there's a pond, that man gets out of his car. If he sees off in the hill a lake, he gets out of his car. These people here, Josh, Bill, excuse me.
So Steve Brunt just trying to catch Josh Taylor before he exits the arena.
Just one second, Bill. Just is that okay? Is that okay? Josh, just quickly, how did you see it? First of all, commiserations, how did you see it?
I thought I won the fight, to be honest. I thought I won it by 1, maybe 2 rounds. Certainly close though, it was certainly close, but I just think that given all the noise around the first fight, they've gave it straight to Jack. Do you know what I mean? Even though it was a close fight, close rounds where they could have went either way. They've just gave it to Jack. So, but listen, fair play. He won the fight. He got the nod. No excuses for me. I won't be phoning the police or phoning writing letters into Parliament. He won the fight, but listen, I think there's a taste for a third fight there to settle the score.
A case for a third fight. You do realise how good it was, and you've just been involved in a magnificent, epic British fight. I know that that's not what you want to hear now, but I'm just telling you that.
Yeah, listen, it was a good fight. I could have boxed better at times, but I still think I nicked the fight, to be honest. You know, and I'll get shit for saying this and all that, and all the shit and everybody because of the first fight. That's one apiece. Justice served and all that shit. But listen, I thought I won that fight.
Listen, Josh,
won maybe 2 rounds.
Thanks for your time. I know you were leaving the ring. I really appreciate it. I'll come and see you later.
You're always great. Thank you.
Joe, I'll see you later on. Joe Manelli there. Thanks, fellas. If I could just grab Eddie Hearn, it'd be lovely. Eddie, just 1 second. Just 1 second. Eddie, we thought we might get a fight. We got something different. And after 20 seconds.
Well, I mean, the first round was better than the entire first fight.
Bingo.
It was a brilliant fight, backwards and forwards. For me, the right man won. Very close fight. I had it 7-5 for Jack Catterall. Sometimes the problem is, when the cards are wide, people forget actually who won the fight. Most people had Jack Catterall winning the fight. But because the cards were so wide, everyone moans at that. I agree with Mr. Aram. He did lose his mind in there. Good luck to him. He's a passionate man. But what a fight. Jack Catterall got robbed 2 years ago. And I'm so pleased tonight, when winning a close fight, he got the right decision. Scorecards were wide, right man won.
Jack Catterall said, that's it, Steve, I'm finished with him. Josh Taylor said, I think there's a strong case for a third fight. Ed, we're already talking about the third fight. We've not even left the ring.
To be honest with you, listen, I'm a promoter. When I see a fight like that and it goes 1-1, how can you not think about a trilogy? But Jack Catterall should have been undisputed champion 2 years ago. So it's only right he gets to fight for a world title. We'll let the dust settle. But what a night, what a fight. You know, that's really what we needed, what we wanted. One of the best atmospheres I've seen.
Incredible.
Unbelievable night. England versus Scotland. Both men were incredible. The right man won tonight. I truly believe that. Number 3, who knows? But first things first, we'll go to Riyadh.
I was about to make a Riyadh joke. You've just stolen the joke. I was going to tell you could put your feet up next week when we got 5v5. You've ruined my joke, Ed.
Yeah. We've got to let the blood pressure come down first. I was pumped in that fight. It's what we live and breathe for. What a night. What a fight. Get up, Jack Catterall.
See you in Riyadh, Eddie. Thanks so much for your time. Ron, do you want me to interview anybody else? I've done everybody else. There's no one. There's the geezer taking the ring down. Should I talk to him for you?
Steve Bunt's doing an outstanding job in the role of roving reporter. He's up on the ring apron and he has spoken to all of the principals involved in what was an absolute domestic classic between Josh Taylor and Jack Catterall. We heard from the man who prevailed in this rematch, Jack Catterall, who gave his props in the direction of Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor thinking that he was hard done by. Apologies for the colourful language that he used in describing his thoughts on the scorecards and the judges, but again, his emotions absolutely understandable. But Richie, we've heard all of the permutations from the fighters, from the promoters. Josh Taylor seems to be interested in a third encounter. Jack Catterall says that he's put the rivalry to bed and wants to move on with his career. Which way do you think both of these men are going to go, given that they have shared 24 rounds together of such intensity?
I'll tell you where it's going to go, and Steve's already hinted about it. It'll probably go to Saudi because they'll be offered a bucket load of money and they'll probably take it. And yet at the end of the day, when they both sit down, it's 1-1. Whether you agree with the first decision or not, it's 1-1 and they'll want to sort it out, and there'll be a lot of money involved, and you'll probably go Saudi Arabia and we'll get a trilogy. Tonight it was Jack Catterall's night. There was something just not right with Taylor. His timing was off. He didn't box right. He came back into it. He's a tough kid, and I know he's a tough kid because I've worked with him. Tough kid, he clawed his way back into it, but it wasn't enough at the end of the day.
Yeah, I did have it 5-5 going into the last 2 rounds. I thought it was a tight fight. But there's several competitive rounds. I think Jack Catterall won. Don't get me wrong, but I did disagree, and I think that the two judges who scored it are basically 9-3. They're really good judges. I think that was too wide. That's my opinion. So did Bob Arum. I missed it, but I could sense the outrage. You probably heard it. That was 92-year-old Bob Arum effing and jeffing. Take that, Leeds. That's from Las Vegas with no love. So Bob's going to have a scream up. He's going to demand a rematch. Josh was talking about a third fight there. He looked a bit broken, Josh. He looked a bit heartbroken, Ronald. You know that look. You know that look as well, Richie.
But back-to-back losses for Josh Taylor now. We've talked about his glittering amateur career. He turned pro in 2015. He turned pro at 140. And here we are, approaching 10 years later, he's still at 140. Richie, as you mature as an athlete and the muscles become denser, you know how difficult it is to maintain the weight that you turn pro at. How viable, how realistic is it for him to drag himself back down to 140 again for a potential trilogy encounter?
Well, when he first came into the ring, I said he looked drawn, didn't he? I mean, I said it right at the start. I'm not using that as an excuse because he finished the contest pretty strong and he's a strong kid. But yes, it's getting more and more difficult to actually make the weight now and he will have to move up. But the other thing is as well, it was 27 months between this fight and the first Catterall fight, and he's only had one fight in between that. And at the age of 33, that's not good for a boxer of that age. You've got to fight more regularly. So he could have done with one beforehand. That never happened. It's a close fight. Catterall's won it. Let's have a trilogy, and then we'll know for definite who the best is.
And you know what? The way I look at it, Ronald, there are champions out there at light welter that he could fight. There are other people he could fight. You know, Dalton Smith's at ringside. He'll be British champion, great fighter. Adam Azim's out there, be fighting Harlem Eubank. Perhaps that's a great fighter. Forget them, and no disrespect to those two names I've mentioned there. The money fight for these two, far more than some bauble. And bear in mind, he's already had 4 of those, Josh Taylor, and the meaning maybe perhaps as we go forward increasingly less. The money fight for these two is against each other because the dynamic has shifted, the dynamic has switched, and you know what, perhaps they'll make it. By the way, Jack Catterall has to work to make the weight as well. We're concentrated on Josh Taylor. Perhaps they'll make it at 142, 143. Keep the bogus belts out of the basement. Let us just do the boxing. I can see us having it again. I really could. There isn't a soul in this arena now on the streets of Leeds who wouldn't readily buy a ticket as they were exiting this place.
And Ronald, I said at the start of the night, it's the boxer here tonight that will start the better, will concentrate, who will be on the money right from the word go. And it was Catterall. He got the tactics spot on. He's against a taller opponent. He controlled, we talked about it earlier in the fight, he controlled the pace and the tempo superbly well early in the fight. His best shot, was just that single jab. The jab was accurate. In a way, it's judge friendly because the judge can see it hit the target. The neck goes back, the head goes back. Then it's back to the on guard position. I mean, he boxed really, really well early. Got his nose in front, and then it was a case of Josh Taylor having to try to claw back. Now he's a tough kid because he was banged up there.
His right eyes
halfway
nearly
through the fight.
Richie.
He's banged up. You know what I mean?
I'll tell you one thing. I mean, we can start. Sometimes we need to celebrate the victory and not necessarily analyse the road to that victory. But I will say this: I did feel that Josh Taylor surrendered some of those early rounds a little bit too easily. He never solved, and I know I've banged on about this since the end of the fight and even during the fight. He never solved Catterall's defence. He could have maybe moved his feet round, but more than that. If the man in front of you turns his back, whack him repeatedly round the back. The referee will tell you off, your corner will scream, and he will eventually turn his back. He'll eventually change that stance because he keeps getting hit behind the elbow on the back, which is illegal. But then turning your back's illegal. You turn your back, that's illegal. You can be disqualified for turning your back. You can be stopped for turning your back. So there's two sides to that. What I think I saw tonight in there was maybe Josh Taylor overthinking maybe some of the early rounds, maybe overthinking those early rounds, and maybe having enough confidence in his ability to claw it back at the end. That finished in the 11th round when he was close to dropped, out on his feet, and eventually tumbled down. That was the end, in my opinion, of Josh Taylor's fight tonight.
Yeah, a couple of things that disappointed me about Josh Taylor's performance tonight. He conceded his height and reach very, very early on. Come down to Catterall's level in terms of height. And so you're taking away that advantage of being the taller man with the longer reach, getting caught with the jab, but he didn't control the pace at all. And what disappointed me, Ronald, about his performance also was it took him long in the fight, probably took him 6 or 7 rounds to realise that he's got to put more and more pressure on. He was waiting far too long earlier on in the contest, and that allowed Catterall just to dictate things. And the slower the pace, I said it in the commentary, the slower the pace, he soon...